Hello everyone, welcome to the current affairs series of Drishti IAS, and today's session is about polity. I am Ritu and today I am going to talk about the missions and schemes. And as you already know that missions and schemes are very important for a prelims examination, and we often see that question has been asked from this area. So it's very important to know about the different schemes and missions which has been launched by the government of India. So moving towards the first discussion topic. So the first topic is, these are the topics we are going to discuss. National Urban Digital Mission, Fast Track Special Court Scheme, Mission Shakti, Mission Karmayogi, Scheme for Administrative Reforms, Digital India, Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. So these topics are very much important for your examination, and we'll also discuss that why these topics are in the news. So moving towards the first topic, which is National Urban Digital Mission. So National Urban Digital Mission has recently enabled the electronic delivery of municipal services to the citizen of this country across the towns and cities nationwide. So as the name suggests, National Urban Digital Mission. So this would be related to the urban areas. So coming to that, what are the other important thing about this particular scheme? So who has launched it? So generally you need to know the member of ministry also, because it's very important for examination, because many times you have seen that a statement has been made that this particular scheme belong to which ministry. So you need to know. So it has been launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs along with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So in prelims examination, if they will ask the what you can say one option Ministry of Urban Affairs, then it's also right, and also Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So whenever there will be the both thing in the option, then you have to answer accordingly. What is the aim of this particular scheme? The aim is to facilitate electronic delivery of municipal services across towns and cities, and also provide shared digital infrastructure. Then we have other things about this objective. So it aims to create a shared digital infrastructure for urban India, and also work on the pillars of people, process and platform. So here 3P are important: pillars of people, process and platform. Provide holistic support to cities and towns. Timeline: so institutionalize citizen-centric and ecosystem-driven approach by 2022 in 2022 cities. Extend to all cities and towns in India by 2024. So earlier it was limited, but in 2024 it has extended to all over the India. Then we have another one. Which is why in news. So here we have the another discussion topic, which is Fast Track Special Court. And when Nirbhaya case happened in this country, so it has become very much important to know that what are the things related to the women survivor, the different rape cases happening in India, and also there are few cases which are very crucial and which needs immediate solution. So for that, the fast track thing has been launched, and here we will discuss about the fast track special court. And initially commenced in October 2019 for 1 year, but the scheme got extended for another 2 years, and right now this scheme got extended for another 3 years, which is of the 2026. So what is about the FTSC? So it is centrally sponsored scheme. It means that here there will be the share of the state government, also the central government. The scheme to establish FTSC was formulated in August 2019, implemented by Department of Justice, Ministry of Law and Justice. You need to know the ministries: Ministry of Law and Justice, funded from Nirbhaya Fund. Then what other things? So it was a specialized court established in India for primary aim of expediting the trial process of the cases. I have already told you that few cases require immediate solution and immediate justice. sexual offense, particularly those involved in rape and violation under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. So why fast track court is needed? Because many times we have seen that so many cases are pending and the solution has been not found out, the justice has not given to the survivors. So in that scenario, what had happened that the often rape survivor has to face different kind of threats and also different kind of taboos they have to face. So in order to remove all those taboos, in order to give them speedy justice, we need to have fast courts in the country. Then coming to the next one, which is about the Nari Adalat. So recently Government of India has decided that it will introduce a component of Nari Adalat under Mission Shakti. So here we will focus on Nari Adalat also and Mission Shakti also, and what are the different components of the Mission Shakti we'll also discuss. So coming to the next one, which is about the Mission Shakti. So it is an integrated women empowerment scheme as umbrella scheme for safety, security and empowerment of the women, and it comprises two sub-schemes. The first is Sambal and the second one is Samarthya. So two sub-schemes, Sambal and Samarthya. Then coming to that, what are the missions under the Sambal? So it focuses on the safety and security of the women, and it includes one-stop centers. If any woman is facing any kind of the problem, they can contact and they can approach to one-stop center. It has also introduced women helpline number, which is 181, and it has also provided a special focus on Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and Nari Adalat. Then we have Samarthya. So this thing has focuses on the safety and security on the women, and Samarthya, as the name suggests, it focuses on the empowerment of the women. And what are the components we have? So here components are Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandan Yojana, Palana Scheme, Shakti Sadan, Sakhi Nivas, Hub for Empowerment of Women. Because what had happened that many child marriage is happening and the husband of that child bride has died very early, and also the widowed women who became widow at very early age, rape survivors, traffic survivors, human traffic survivors, domestic violence survivors. So these women are very helpless. So Government of India has decided that they should be the one-stop center, and in order to help these women by not just providing them shelter and food but also empowering them through their work and economic safety. So this is the Mission Shakti. Coming to the next one. Then Nari Adalat, because Government of India has decided to implement Nari Adalat. Nari Adalat component added under the Sambal sub-scheme, we already know, to be implemented in a phased manner under Mission Shakti. The first phase is Assam and Jammu Kashmir, but later it will be implemented to whole country. Then coming to the next one, which is objective. So to provide women with alternative grievance redressal mechanism at Gram Panchayat level, nature of the cases should be harassing, curtailment of rights or entitlement, implemented under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So many people will be also confused that it is a department of Ministry of Law and Justice, but it will be implemented through Ministry of Women and Child Development. Then coming to the next one, which is Mission Karmayogi. So Mission Karmayogi, in one answer, if there will be the questions related to this, that Mission Karmayogi is related to, so it is related to the civil servants and government employees of this country, basically for the civil servant. So what had happened the news recently on Good Governance Day? In the comment section you have to tell me that on which day Good Governance Day is celebrated. Extended version of Mission Karmayogi was launched by introducing the 3 new features. I got Karmayogi platform. So here we will discuss about the I got Karmayogi platform also, but in a simple language you should know that Mission Karmayogi is related to the civil servant. Coming to the other components of the Mission Karmayogi. So it was launched in 2020 and it is known as the National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building, and it also aims to reform capacity building process for civil servants in the country. And the other things are implementation. So here there will be the implementation of integrated government online training, which is I got Karmayogi digital platform, and it also offers the best practices rooted in Indian ethos. There will be also the evaluation based on courses taken and skill enhancement throughout the career, an online database for tracking officers training and expertise. So here there is a picture: imaginative and innovative, creative, constructive, transparent and tech enabled, energetic, enabling, professional, progressive, proactive, polite. So these are the components which should be in any civil servants in order to have a smooth administration. So coming to the other components, the other component is iGOT Karmayogi platform. So it was developed as an integral part of Digital India stack for capacity building for government employees, and it provides continuous online training platform for government servants, and there should be the ability of the courses for international universities evolving in a vibrant marketplace for curated and learning material, and it is also integrated with the competency framework for service matters. So this is about the iGOT Karmayogi platform. Then we have Digital India Future Skills Summit. So recently, first ever Digital India Future Skills Summit was held in Guwahati, Assam. And what other things had happened? So first we need to know about the Digital India. It is a flagship program of the government of India with the vision to transform India digitally, and India should become digitally empowered, and also society and knowledge to the economy. And it was launched in July 2015. So it is about almost a decade. Then coming to the next one, which is about the Digital India. So these are the factors which government of India has tried to focus on: vision and vision areas, program management, program pillars, and approach and methodology. So this thing has been taken care of by the government under Digital India. Then we have another one, 9 pillars of Digital India, and you must know the 9 pillars of Digital India, because in mains examination, whenever they will ask the question that pillars of Digital India, or what do you understand by Digital India, how it is effective to the digitally empowered country. So if you will remember 4 or 5 pillars also, you can make a pie diagram and flow chart like this, and then you can write the pillars like this. So first we need to know about what are the 9 pillars: broadband, highways, universal access to mobile connectivity, public internet access program, e-governance, reforming government through technology, e-Kranti, electronic delivery of services, information for all, electronics manufacturing, IT for jobs, early harvest program. So what these 9 pillars shows that these are the daily uses of a normal people or a common lives, and by these facility a common lives can be strengthened and a standard of living can be also improved. So these are the 9 pillars of the Digital India. Then we have Digital India initiative. So the first initiative is DG Lockers, and I guess every one of us know about the DG Lockers. So it is a digital platform under which you have to register, and if you have any kind of certificate, just like your Aadhaar card, your caste certificates, your domiciles, everything will be accessed through DG Locker. Then we have e-hospital. So it will provide the facilities and information about different hospitals, patients, ability of the beds and doctors through single digital platform. Then we have e-Pathshala. So e-Pathshala is also important because it provides different kind of reading and studying material to the children, and developed by NCERT, available through the website and mobile app. So e-Pathshala is also important because the government sponsored books you can get from this e-Pathshala. Then we have Bhim UPI. We already know that Bhim is not accessible just in this country, it is also accessible to the foreign countries. So Bhim UPI is able to for the digital payment just like the other payments. Then we have Digital India Bhashini. So it is an AI which is used for translation of different languages. And then we have Digital India Genesis. So it is National Deep Tech Startup Platform supporting the startups in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So you must know the difference between Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, aimed at discovering the supporting and growing startups. So generally in megapolitan cities or metropolitan cities, we can see that there is a culture of startup, but tier 2 and tier 3 cities often remain underlooked. So in order to give a special emphasis, these kind of initiatives have been launched. Then we have My Scheme, service discovery platform facilitating access to government scheme, and it also offers one-stop search and discovery portal for eligible scheme. It means that through this My Scheme you are able to know that you are eligible for which kind of the scheme. Also Meri Pehchan, so this is national single sign-on for one citizen login, and it also provides user authentication service for multiple online applications. So these are the schemes under it. Then we have another one, which is Chips to Startup program. So in the last slide we had also discussed that how tier 2 and tier 3 cities are developed for the startup culture. So it aims to train specialized human power in semiconductor chip design. So this is basically for the chip design. Acts as a catalyst for the growth and startup involved in semiconductor design. So this is about the semiconductor design. Then we have India Stack Global repository of key projects implemented under India Stacks, includes Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, CoWIN, vaccination platform. So all these things are under India Stacks Global, and this is the facilitator and main catalyst. Then we have about Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, and recently a parliamentary panel has ticked off the Panchayati Raj Ministry over the non-release of funds to state under the flagship Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. And under this Abhiyan, under this scheme, Government of India has decided that all panchayats should get the financial assistance. So there was non-disbursal of financial assistance. So that's why this news has come. Then we'll discuss about this particular scheme. So it was approved by Cabinet 2018 for the implementation of 2018-19 to 21-22. Later it was extended to 2026. And it is implemented by Ministry of Panchayati Raj, as the name suggests. Efforts towards achieving Sabka Saath, Sabka Gaon and Sabka Vikas, because India is a country which is agriculture based, and here 80% of the population lives in the Gaon or villages. So this is very important for a ideal democratic country to look for the masses who are residing in the villages. So coming to the next one is about the components. So what are the central components? Incentivization of panchayats, mission mode project of e-panchayat, because here Digital India is also working, and panchayats, the Government of India aim is to make panchayats digitally empowered. Other activities at the central level. Then we have also state component, capacity building and training activities, institutional mechanism for CB and T, other activities at a limited scale. So these are the targets for the central one, and these are for the state one. Then we have another one, which is objective. So its objective is to develop the governance capability of Panchayati Raj institution to deliver the sustainable development goals. So you already know about the sustainable development goals. So panchayats are also working for the sustainable development goals, and to meet the demands of the sustainable development goals. And what are the key principles of SDGs embedded in the design of capacity building? Leaving no one behind. It means that everyone should be covered. Reaching the farthest first. It means the villages and panchayats who are remotest and who are in remote areas should be given the first priority. Universal coverage, so no villages should be left out. Gender equality, and as you already know that 33% reservation has been given to the panchayat, so gender equality should be also maintained through this. So that's it for today's class. If you have any queries related to this class or this session, kindly ask in the comment section. I hope that you are doing good for your examination. If you are getting any kind of the problems, do comment and do contact us. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.